Okay, so real quick off the top here. This is going to be a quick, probably a disorganized episode of ranting. So just heads up, there's not going to be much structure at all to this one because I am not in a good state of mind when it comes to this team right now. And we're gonna vent. We're gonna rant, we're gonna discuss it for a couple of minutes here before I go to work because this has gotten absolutely abhorrent and I don't know how much longer I can take it. Let's talk Yankees.
Hey there, you're listening to BD4, where there's no better way to get your Yankees and Knicks analysis. Yanks every series, Knicks every game, and MMA on occasion. Here's your host, RJ Carbone.
And a high drive in the left center field. Stanley's going to watch another one fly. Are you kidding me? DiVincenzo a three. Bang! Bang! Knicks take a
Take this chance to apologize to absolutely nobody.
At the wall. See ya! See ya! See ya! Mr. Nova.
Anthony for three. Bang! That one goes down and the game is tied.
Rose, you shook up the world again.
I did it again. But God did it, man. I really just had
Gonna have to. Brunson running away. Oh my! He has been the best player to put on that uniform.
Ball game over. Yankees win. The Yankees win.
Okay, let's talk. Episode 886 here of the podcast. The New York Yankees just dropped two more to the Toronto Blue Jays. They dropped 2 out of 3. They fell to 4.5 games back because the Yankees were off yesterday and the Blue Jays won. So they're 4.5 games back now. They continue to lose to Toronto in Toronto. They're embarrassing themselves. Okay, it's not even about the division anymore. Anything. It's just they don't look like a baseball team. And this may be the worst baseball team I've ever witnessed. Now I'm going to clarify myself when I say baseball team because it makes it seem like I'm being a spoiled Yankees fan. Obviously, they're not the worst team. But when you think of a baseball team and you're thinking of a team that can execute the little things, right? Who can simply execute baseball fundamentals, routine baseball plays, hit, throw, run, things like that. The Yankees are probably they're probably the worst product that you could possibly want out there for a contender when you think of those types of things, the tools of the game. It is embarrassing. It's humiliating as a fan. They've humiliated New York City. They've humiliated their fans. They've humiliated themselves, although, by the way, they speak to the media. I'm not even sure they're that embarrassed. It is the worst baseball I have ever seen from a Yankees team. It is like all that you have to do when you play this godforsaken team, this excuse of a team, is put the ball in play and they will act like children. They will act like drunk 70-year-old hobos. They have no clue. They will kick, throw, dribble, fumble the ball around like children. They run into teams who know how to put bat to ball and know how to run. They're done. They're losing that series. They might get swept. They're done. They're going to beat themselves. They're going to shoot themselves in the foot because they don't play, here we go, baseball. They don't play baseball. at this point is an organizational issue. Okay. Remember the analytics audit that they had? It was supposed to be this big overhaul. That's a joke. That guy's not even with the organization. But the fact that this team goes out there every night, no matter the personnel at this point, because remember, at the beginning of the season, everybody was talking about it. Oh, you know what? This is a different Yankees team. They're athletic. They run the bases. They play the field. They're fundamentally sound because they have different personnel. Remember, that was what they were trying to sell you in the offseason? And for a little bit, we bought into it. But now you're starting to see, because the more and more that the Yankees continue to give away games and have these blow-up innings where shit just hits the fan and then it does it again, you realize, oh, wait, maybe it's not gone. Maybe it wasn't the personnel. Maybe it's more of an organizational issue. Every player that comes up through this system has the same issue where they have no IQ. It goes back to Gary Sanchez, Gleyber Torres, Anthony Volpe making crunch time mistake after crunch time mistake. Jason Dominguez, dumb as bricks sometimes on the bases, plays the worst left field I've ever seen, takes some of the stupidest routes. There's no teaching going on from down below in the system to the major league level. There's no teaching. They're defensively inept every night. These guys have no clue what they're doing because they're not working on this stuff. They just assume Volpe can't range to the hole. He's got a weak arm. He's had issues on double cuts, where to cover. Ben Rice is not good at first base by any means. JC Escara is allowing free trips around the bases every night, whether he can't get to a wild pitch or whether he can't catch the ball properly without interfering with the bat. He's got a noodle of an arm. Jazz Chisholm is an idiot on double cuts as well. How many throwing errors is he going to make? Third base, second base. Jason Dominguez, the fact that we're talking about him as a long-term DH at 22 years old is embarrassing. Can't get the balls in the gap. Can't get the balls at the wall. Doesn't get the balls that are slightly in front of him. Austin Wells, another guy with a noodle of an arm. Gets ran on all the time. Trent Grisham is as lazy as it gets out there, but nobody wants to say anything because they think it's a cute storyline. And nobody does anything about it. They just let it happen. They just let it happen. It's embarrassing to me, man. They have zero shot, this team. The talent's all there. On paper, the roster looks good. You could even go into the deadline and make your moves for a bullpen guy, a couple of bullpen guys, and get whatever you need to get. That doesn't change the fact that they're fundamentally inept. They're so flawed at their core. It's crazy. And, you know, you had the John Boy interview with Boone a couple of days. For whatever reason, he's taken some hits online. He's right. We're fans. We're going to be pissed. We're going to act like this. It's their job to ask questions. They've got the manager of the New York Yankees on their show. Of course they're going to ask the hard-hitting questions. Because all you people do is complain about the mundane responses and the boring questions from the media. And then you finally get some straightforward shit for once. Guys shooting it straight how it is. Credit to them, too, on Talking Yanks. And then you cry more about it. But they were pressing them, and I thought they did a great job asking them about this team's defensive ineptitude. It's crazy to me because this was a problem all of last year where you kicked through and you spit the ball all the way around the infield and the outfield. And you get to the playoffs, and you somehow make it to the World Series. But you get to the World Series, and you get gentlemen swept, and then after the World Series, the Dodgers are laughing at you on podcasts, to the media, making it very public about how big of a joke you are fundamentally. They make those comments. They shame you publicly. And you don't even do anything to fix it. You make a couple of moves and you say, okay, that's good. You're the ones inside the organization. You're the ones who should know if it's fixed or not. Absolutely insane to me. Absolutely insane. This is why I don't have any complaints other than this. Like, I'm not sitting here every night bitching about the lineup when they're not scoring 12 runs every game because I know how the 162 works. The lineup's not the problem. They're first and they're like top 5, top 3 first in a lot of great big offensive categories. It's not the offensive production that's the issue. You know? So they're going to hit no matter who's out there. People complain about the lineup, the batting order changes every day. No, I think we're at a point. You just got to play defensive players every day because you know you're going to get production. You know, I think we're at a point where until this thing gets fixed or until it becomes less loud, you say, Jason Dominguez, you know what? The only days you're going to be in this lineup is when we need you to DH and giving Stanton a day off. Because we're going to have Grisham be our left fielder every day or whatever. Bellinger. You know, we're going to have Bellinger, Grisham, Judge out there. Ben Rice, we like your bat, but you know what? We need a first baseman who's going to play first base. So Paul Goldschmidt's going to be in there. And if you want to bat, you're going to DH a day here and there, and you'll get some catching reps because that's who you are. You're not a first baseman. Like, they need to start putting their best defensive players out there until this shit gets fixed. Let them know that it's not okay to continue doing this. But the fact that they're not going to do that and they're going to continue to run the same guys out there who make the same stupid mistakes, you know, they're telling them it's all good. That's the message there. It's all good. And that's been the messaging this whole time, right? It's all good. We'll turn it around. Couple mistakes here and there. You know what? No, we don't play bad defense. We just play bad defense in Toronto, says the manager. I have about had it, man. I have about had it. You know, every season we get to a point where, like, you talk to yourself and you're like, all right, well, this might be that point where I know that they're not going to win it this year. And anything going forward, I might have to just like fake myself into believing and talk myself into it. Like, you always get to that point of the season every year. As a Yankees fan nowadays, I think I'm there now. I think this was it. This was it for me. I've never seen a team make so many goddamn mistakes so consistently and then act like it's normal. It makes them so unlikable. So freaking unlikable. Because just the way they talk, it doesn't make it seem like they understand. Tell us you at least understand where we're coming from. You don't have to rip into your players and rip into your team, but there is a medium that can be reached. It doesn't have to be this extreme and that extreme. I can't stand this guy. I can't stand Aaron Boone. This is why I loved Tom Thibodeau with the Knicks. He was the anti-Boone. No. I don't want to go off track here, but it's. I don't know what else I could say. Again, I don't have a script. I don't have notes. I don't have anything in front of me really. I'm just ranting right now because this has gotten to a pathetic point. And again, you're going to fake yourself into believing it. I know we all are because that's how the 162 works. They're going to make some good trades. They're going to get hot. They'll maybe even take the American League East back. I wouldn't be shocked if they won the division because I still don't take the Blue Jays serious. Say they do. Cool. But then we'll forget about their issues. And then once they run into another team like Boston, like the Dodgers, like Toronto, who run and who put the ball in play and who play baseball and make you play baseball, then we'll fucking see again. We'll be like, oh yeah, That's it. They're bad at baseball. I forgot about that. So that's really all I have to add here. I'll continue to say, I've never seen a group of adult men play like such children. And it's gotten to a point, man, where I almost want to root against them because they're so fucking unlikable. The 3 Yankees that I'm going to tip my cap to this series. Cody Bellinger for 1. That's the 4th time we're tipping our cap to him this season. I think he continues to hit. Although he did make that mistake on Wednesday night's game. And Wednesday night, I can't even speak. On Wednesday night, he made that mistake, or was it? Yeah, it was Wednesday. Drops the fucking fly ball because he didn't touch it, didn't count. The Yankees made 4 errors on paper. You watch that game, they had about 6-7 plays that just made you, what the fuck? But Bellinger, tipping our cap to him for the 4th time this year. The bullpen, Devin Williams looked good. Bouncing back from a couple of rough outings. 7th time this season, we'll be tipping our cap to him. Again, it's all about the fastball velocity and command. If he's got the fastball, the screwball will play. So good for him. Devin Williams for the 7th time this season. Tipping our cap to you. Cam Schlittler, I'm going to tip my cap to him because I thought Cam Schlittler pitched really well in the Wednesday or in the Tuesday game. The one win of the series where the Yankees won on Tuesday 5-4, that roller coaster of a game. Cam Schlittler, I thought, pitched pretty well. 5 innings, 2 runs, 7 hits, 90 pitches, no decision. So definitely not as electric as he was in his debut. Still needs to work on command. He walked 3 batters and, a lot of his off-speed pitches were up in the zone. He's got to keep that down to keep opposing hitters from pulling the ball in the air on him, which they have so far. So he yielded some decent contact. He only had 3 strikeouts, didn't get much swing and miss. Still needs that off-speed pitch that breaks into righties and away from lefties. Something other than the slider that goes the opposite way. But in this start, he was still consistently touching 99. And he now has the 10 fastest pitches on the Yankees through just 2 starts. So that's pretty funny. Allowed no home runs, no extra base hits. All hits were singles off him. And he did a nice job preventing runs again. I thought the slider was working well, has some decent break. Continues to be a good pitch for his righties. Blue Jays were 2 for 8 off the slider and sweeper combined with just those 2 singles. 4-seamer wasn't great, but it got the most whiffs. Obviously, he went to the curveball against lefties. But overall, I thought Schlittler did a nice job. Did it versus the, I think, 7th best lineup in the MLB via WRC+. And did it by outdueling Max Scherzer. So that was impressive. Good for him. So we're tipping our cap to Cam Schlittler for the first time in 2 starts. Maybe he's here past the deadline. Maybe he's not. But it's a deadline that the Yankees need to attack. Because, again, the left side of this infield is getting disgusting. Errors galore, and it's in big spots. Volpe makes an error on Monday, makes an error on Tuesday. Peraza makes the error on Monday. You got a billion errors on Wednesday. The Yankees, again, don't need to do a ton at the deadline to be looking good on paper. Because I do believe they're underachieving. Like, you can literally overanalyze with every single contender right now. Detroit, their fans are probably saying, we need this, that right now. Dodger fans probably doing the same thing as they're struggling also. I just think it comes down to needing to play up to par with the roster they currently have while also making improvements. And those improvements must come. I think it's time to put Peraza out of a job and threaten Volpe's job even. But I'm just saying, like, when Cashman trades for his third baseman next week, or I guess in a couple of days now, the bar could not be lower. Like, you just need a guy from outside the system, a.k.a. one who has been taught the basic fundamentals of the position. A guy who knows where to stand on double cuts and relays. A guy who can make routine throws without bouncing it. A guy who can range to the hole adequately. Just good glove work. His bat can be mediocre because the lineup, again, it mashes. But I need the guy they bring in here to have baseball IQ and competence at the position that he plays. Because you're not getting that right now with Volpe and Peraza. Remember these two kids were battling out in spring training? It was them battling out the shortstop position at a camp. They went from being the two best prospects in the Yankee system to the two worst players in baseball. Peraza's OPS plus is in the 20s. The worst hitter I've ever had the misfortune of laying my eyes on. Anthony Volpe has an 85 OPS plus in his career. This year, I think it's staying in the 80s. Over his last month and a half, he's in the 500s with the OPS. He's very low metrically on defense. No arm. The range isn't there. The glove's been bad. He's a shortstop. So, I don't know what they're really going to do at third base anymore, because that nightmare that happened on Wednesday might have completely changed the way they look at someone like Eugenio Suarez. The price tag is going to be low because he's expiring. And he's got elite right-handed power to where it's really hard to pass on that if you do have the offer. But you're also looking at other guys who might be better fits. Like someone like Willie Castro might be a good fit. Because historically, I know he's struggling this year. Historically, he's a very good glove. And he does enough with the bat to where he's not Peraza, he's not Volpe. He's a 700 OPS bat. Ryan McMahon, very similar. Excellent glove work at third base. Light bat outside of Coors Field. That's why the OPS plus numbers don't match the OPS. But it still might be enough of a bat. A guy like Ramon Urias. Great glove work at third base. Decent enough with the bat. I would pass on someone like Brian Hayes. As elite as he is with the glove, he's an absolute abomination at the plate. At that point, just keep Peraza. So I'm looking for great glove, enough bat. I would pass on an Ahmed Rosario for the opposite reasons. He can hit well, especially against lefties, but he's not a good enough bat to offset the historically awful glove. I want nothing to do with Connor Falefa, some of the worst offensive metrics I've ever seen. And spare me the nostalgic move. No, thank you. Yon Moncada is another name we hear. I talked about him in the offseason a little bit. I wouldn't hate nor love it. He can hit well, especially when he's left on right. Not a good glove. So I'm curious to see what the Yankees do. Because we now have a new major concern that has come up. Right? It's no longer, all right, attack the bullpen, get a third baseman. No, it's like, how the hell are we going to fix the left side of this infield? That's a concern now. So, no trivia question, nothing like that. I'm not even going to dive into anything else. This team's a fucking joke. And I have no confidence that they're going to go out there tonight, this weekend, and beat the Phillies, because this Yankees team is as mediocre gets. I'm over them. I'm about done. Again, I'll save my final thoughts until the deadline to see what this team looks like, but something just telling me in the back of my mind it ain't going to happen this year. Just a fucking joke. Well, if you made it this far, that means you listened to or watched the entire episode. Thank you. Just remember to follow, subscribe, download, rate and review, and all that fun stuff to help out the podcast, and I will see you in the next episode of BD4.